Most men spend years giving women everything, their time, love, and resources, only to be left for someone who treats her worse. Today, I'm exposing the brutal truths about female psychology that could save you from wasting years on heartbreak and failed relationships. Picture this. You're 35 years old, sitting in your car after yet another relationship crash and burn, wondering what the hell went wrong. You gave her everything. Your time, your energy, your emotional support, your resources. You were the perfect gentleman, always putting her needs ahead of your own. You thought that was how you won her heart. And yet, she drifted, she pulled away, and before long she left you. For a guy who, by all appearances, treated her worse than you ever did. Sound familiar? You're not the only one. Millions of men find themselves in the exact same situation, over and over again. They go through life making the same critical mistakes with women, learning the hard way only after it's too late to salvage the relationship, their bank account, or their sanity. What if I told you there are certain core truths about female psychology that most men never even think about until they've been burned a few times? What if I told you that some of the very things you've been taught to believe make you more attractive are actually the exact behaviors that slowly kill a woman's attraction to you? And what if you could have learned these lessons before wasting years on frustration, heartbreak, and missed opportunities? Well, today I'm going to break down the brutal realities about women that most guys figure out far too late in life. These aren't sugar-coated. They're not politically correct. They come from evolutionary psychology, from patterns you can observe in everyday behavior, and from the scars of countless men who wish they'd known all this sooner. If you're easily offended by uncomfortable truths, you might want to click away now. But if you're ready to actually understand how women think and operate, so you can protect yourself and make smarter choices, pay attention. Because what you're about to hear could save you years of pain. Harsh reality number 1. Women will categorize you instantly and rarely change their mind. From the moment you meet a woman, she's sizing you up. She's scanning for what you bring to the table. What's your primary value proposition? Are you the provider, the entertainer, the emotional support guy, the status symbol, the physical protector? Once she's decided, that becomes your lane in her mind, and most of the time you'll never leave it. The provider trap. If you lead with money, career success, or the ability to fund expensive dates and gifts, congratulations, you've just been cast as her personal ATM. You're no longer a fully dimensional man to her. You're a resource. She might enjoy your company and even sleep with you, but her main interest is what you provide, not who you are. The emotional support role. If you lead with endless empathy, if you're always there to listen, always ready to be her shoulder to cry on, you get filed under emotional support. And here's the sting. She'll happily use you for comfort while giving her romance and excitement to someone else. The entertainment guy. If you're the guy who's always cracking jokes, keeping things light and making her laugh, she may love hanging out with you. But she's not necessarily taking you seriously as a long-term partner. You're the fun break, not the main course. The way out. The only way to avoid being boxed in like this is to show up as a complete man, with confidence, self-respect, boundaries, and an authentic personality. When you lead with your whole self instead of a single selling point, she's forced to see you as a full package, not just a service provider. Harsh reality number 2. If you don't lead, she will, and she'll lose attraction for you. This isn't about being a controlling jerk. It's about understanding that women are wired to be attracted to men who can lead, protect, and make decisions. If you don't establish and maintain a kind of grounded, masculine authority in the relationship, she'll naturally fill that vacuum. And when she does, she'll start losing respect for you, which eventually kills attraction. The weakness radar. Women have an almost uncanny ability to detect weakness in men. They can sense insecurity, neediness, fear, and people-pleasing in minutes. And once they spot it, attraction starts bleeding out automatically. If you can't stand up for yourself, if you're afraid to say no, if you change your opinions to match hers, you're sending the signal, I'm not strong enough to lead. And in her mind, that's a liability. The authority vacuum. When you fail to lead, she will, but not because she wants to. It's instinct. She'll start making the decisions, setting the tone, and taking on the masculine role. But here's the catch. She can't fully respect you and be attracted to you at the same time in that dynamic. You become the submissive partner, and that triggers her deep biological programming to seek out someone stronger. The evolutionary angle. In ancient times, a weak man was a threat to a woman's survival. Partnering with him put her and her children in danger. That programming is still alive in her subconscious. Weakness doesn't just turn her off. It can flip into contempt. Harsh reality number 3. Nice guys often finish last. And there's a reason. It's one of the hardest pills for men to swallow. Being genuinely nice doesn't guarantee attraction. In fact, it often does the opposite. The timing problem. Many women go through a thrill-seeking phase in their peak beauty years, late teens to late 20s. They chase excitement, drama, and passion. The nice guy represents stability, predictability, and safety, which are great for building a life, but boring when she's chasing butterflies. By the time she's ready for stability, she's often emotionally worn out from chasing bad boys. And that's when the nice guy becomes appealing. But at that point, he's not her first choice. He's her settling choice. The attraction gap. The core traits of a nice guy, agreeableness, predictability, constant availability, are often the opposite of what sparks attraction. Women say they want nice guys, but their behavior shows they're drawn to challenge, mystery, and men with standards. The respect problem. Nice guys often bend over backwards to be liked, but attraction requires respect, and respect requires strength. If you can't risk her disapproval by setting boundaries or standing up for yourself, you lose her respect, and eventually her attraction. Harsh reality number 4. Women often struggle to empathize with male vulnerability. From the time we're kids, men and women are taught different rules about emotions. Men are told to man up and don't cry, while women are encouraged to express their feelings. This conditioning shapes women's expectations. Many expect men to be emotional rocks. So when you open up, when you show fear, sadness, or neediness, it can make her uncomfortable. It's not that she hates you for it. It's that it shakes her sense of your stability. The emotional labor gap. Women often expect men to handle their emotions, but they're not always equipped or willing to return that support. You might be her shoulder to cry on, but when you need the same, she may check out. The attraction cost. Here's the paradox. Showing too much vulnerability can actually damage attraction. You're expected to be strong enough to support her while needing nothing from her in return. It's an unfair double standard, but it's real. Harsh reality number 5. Women are often more attracted to men who are emotionally unavailable. This one drives a lot of guys crazy. You're available, you're interested, you're ready to give her the world. And she seems more drawn to the guy who barely texts her back. The scarcity effect. We value what's rare. If you're always available, always ready to hang out, always texting back immediately, you become abundant. And abundant things don't feel special. Emotionally unavailable men create scarcity. They're not always around. They don't hand out attention like candy. And that makes their attention feel more valuable. The chase addiction. Some women get hooked on the challenge. The uncertainty, the small wins when he does show interest, it's a dopamine roller coaster. With an available guy, there's no mystery, no chase. And while that might be healthier, it doesn't light up the same reward systems in her brain. The validation hierarchy. Attention from an emotionally unavailable man feels like winning a prize. Attention from an available man feels like something she was already guaranteed. That difference can make the first feel more valuable, even if it's toxic. The self-worth paradox. Weirdly, some women feel more confident around men who treat them poorly than around men who treat them well, because earning attention feels like an achievement. That's why you see women stay in bad relationships and walk away from good ones. Harsh reality number 6. Women will test you over and over. If you think her tests will stop once you win her, you're in for a surprise. Testing is part of how women gauge your strength, your confidence, and your boundaries. The compatibility check. Some tests are about long-term potential, how you handle stress, disagreements, and unexpected challenges. She's evaluating whether you can be a strong partner over time. The boundary push. Other tests are about your standards. She might challenge your stated preferences, try to get you to bend your rules, or see if you'll compromise your values just to please her. If you fold, you lose respect in her eyes. The confidence test. She might disagree with you just to see if you'll change your mind. She might tease or criticize something you like to see if you'll defend it. These aren't always conscious moves, but they reveal whether you're steady under pressure. The jealousy probe. Sometimes she'll mention other guys or become less available to see how you react. Blow up? You fail. Beg for attention? You fail. Calm confidence is the right answer almost every time. Harsh reality number 7. Security is the core of what women want. Yes, love matters. Yes, chemistry matters. But security, in multiple forms, is often the deciding factor in whether she stays or goes. Financial security. Even if she has her own career, she wants to know you can provide stability if life throws curveballs. That doesn't mean you need to be a millionaire. It means you're competent, reliable, and able to handle financial challenges. Emotional security. She wants to feel you won't abandon her during tough times, that you can handle her emotions without crumbling, and that you're consistent. Physical security is primal. She wants to feel safe with you, that you could protect her if necessary, that you've got her back in public, and that you can take responsibility for her safety. Social security. She also cares about how you fit into her social world. Do you have respect in your community? Do you raise her status or lower it? The harsh truth. Women will often stay with men they don't truly love if those men provide exceptional security. And they'll often leave men they do love if those men can't. Harsh reality number 8. A woman's self-worth is often tied to her looks. From childhood, most women are told, directly or indirectly, that their appearance is their primary value. Compliments on how pretty they are start early, and the message gets internalized. My worth is based on how attractive I am. The validation cycle. This creates a need for constant confirmation that she's still beautiful and still desirable. Your opinion about her looks matters more than you think. It can directly impact her self-esteem. The aging anxiety. As she gets older and her physical attractiveness changes, many women feel anxiety and even panic. This drives a lot of behavior men find confusing: the obsession with youth, cosmetic procedures, attention-seeking online. The dark side. Some men exploit this insecurity, giving and withdrawing compliments to manipulate her. That's unethical. Understanding this vulnerability should lead to compassion, not games. Harsh reality number 9. Attention is her currency. In a woman's psychological economy, attention is everything. And in the age of social media, it's more obvious than ever. The marketplace of validation. Women compete, consciously or not, for male attention, social recognition, and peer validation. Instagram, TikTok, and even everyday interactions are part of that competition. The fragility factor. A lot of female self-worth is built on external validation. Ignoring her can hit harder than you expect. While men might brush off being ignored, many women experience it as a personal rejection. The many forms of attention-seeking. Some women post provocative photos. Others stir up drama. The goal is the same: to generate a response, to be noticed. The competition dynamic. Even in stable relationships, many women are still competing with other women for attention, which is why they often react strongly if they see you giving that attention to someone else. Harsh reality number 10. Most women won't match your sexual drive long-term. This one frustrates men more than almost anything else because it feels personal even though it's not. Biology's blueprint. Men and women evolved with different sexual strategies. For men, multiple partners could increase genetic success with minimal biological cost. For women, every sexual encounter carried huge potential consequences: pregnancy, vulnerability during pregnancy, and years of investment raising children. That shaped different drives. The hormonal factor. Women's sexual desire fluctuates with hormonal cycles. At certain times of the month, she may be very interested. At other times, not at all. This isn't rejection, it's biology. The emotional connection rule. For most women, sexual desire is tied to emotional connection. If she feels disconnected from you emotionally, physical attraction alone won't keep her interested. The honeymoon illusion. In the early days, she may match or even exceed your sex drive. That's driven by novelty and brain chemistry. But over time, most women's desire levels drop to their natural baseline, and it's usually lower than yours. The acceptance strategy. Instead of taking it personally, accept it as reality. Focus on quality over quantity. Stay physically and emotionally engaged. Keep the connection alive. But don't expect a permanent honeymoon phase. That's a fantasy that leads to resentment. So what do you do with this knowledge? If you're not careful, learning these truths can turn into bitterness or cynicism. But that's not the goal. The goal is awareness, so you can make smarter moves, protect yourself, and create healthier relationships. The awareness advantage. When you understand the patterns, you stop taking them personally. You see a test for what it is. You recognize an attention play for what it is. And you can respond from a position of strength instead of frustration. The ethical approach. This isn't about manipulating women. It's about working with reality instead of against it. You're not trying to change her nature. You're adjusting your behavior to create dynamics that actually work. The strategic positioning. When you know what genuinely attracts women and what kills attraction, you can present your best self without falling into the traps most men do. The 4 key protections. Protect your resources. Don't let yourself be valued only for what you can provide financially. If she's only there for your wallet, you'll feel it sooner or later. Protect your emotions. Understand that oversharing vulnerability can backfire. Keep your emotional balance and don't lean on her for the kind of support she might not be able to give. Protect your time. Spot the endless testers and the constant attention seekers early. Invest in women whose actions show genuine interest, not just those who like the benefits you bring. Protect your heart. Set expectations based on reality, not fantasy. This way, you don't get blindsided or crushed when she acts according to her nature. How to apply this without becoming jaded. Set boundaries. Boundaries aren't about controlling her. They're about protecting yourself. Know what you will and won't tolerate and stick to it. Manage expectations. Stop expecting her to be something she's not. When your expectations match reality, disappointment disappears. Make decisions based on reality. Judge her by what she does, not what she says. Behavior tells the truth every time. Focus on self-improvement. Work on traits that actually drive attraction. Confidence, leadership, purpose, physical fitness, social competence. These pay dividends no matter what. The ultimate truth. If you learn these realities early, you save yourself years of pain. Most men figure them out the hard way, through failed relationships, financial loss, emotional wreckage, and wasted time. You have a choice. Keep living based on romantic fantasies, or accept these truths and use them to build better outcomes. And let's be clear, these realities aren't reasons to hate women. They're reasons to understand women. When you understand them, you stop fighting their nature and start working with it. That's how you build relationships that actually last. If what I've shared here made you recognize patterns in your own life, hit that like button and subscribe. Share this with other men who need to hear it before they learn the hard way. Remember, knowledge is power, but only if you have the courage to accept it and act on it. The men who ignore these truths are doomed to repeat the same mistakes until life forces them to change. Choose awareness over ignorance. Take control of your relationships, and take control of your life.